R.U.X., Rockwell's Universal SeXbots, was originally produced for the 2011 Hope Operas, where it was voted audience favorite. The play returns this summer as part of the Capitol Fringe Festival. Fantastic Forum observed a portion of rehearsal and spoke with playwright Maurice and director Sun King Davis.
The idea of robots and sex and romance all getting kind of mixed up is something that's been rattling around in my head for many years. I'm a sci-fi fan by nature and by history, and I have seen a lot of shows where the humans and robots kind of mix it up in that way. And there were other shows in the 70s, as I recall, that featured female robots. Bladerunner, Star Trek The Next Generation brought back that idea in a big way with Mr. Data. The new Battlestar Galactica. So there's always been, throughout the history of sci-fi, really going all the way back to the Greek play Pygmalion, where you have someone creating artificial life then falling in love with it. It seems that whenever we have the idea of creating artificial life or something very much like humans, the first thing we think of is, oh, well, what about, how would sex work with this new type of being? And for me, that presented an opportunity for a lot of comedy, because you're creating something and our own desires get kind of mixed up with the creative process, and humans are kind of accident prone anyway. So when you get the human intellect and the human desire kind of trying to work together, something funny is going to happen, I think.
I think what's even more interesting than the actual sexual element, and what we focus on more in the show, not that it isn't titillating as well, but is this element of desire. What do people really want? And does fulfilling those desires bring happiness? And that's a really big question in terms of human relationships, and certainly in terms of sexuality. What we're looking for out of our lives.
One of the taglines I use for the play is "Sexy robots, foolish humans. What could go wrong?" And that kind of sums it up. People are very kind of foolish in their desires, and the comedic element comes from people's expectation versus what actually happens. They have a great capacity to lay out plans and imagine how things will go, and eventually they go wrong, especially in the realm of sex and desire.
I want people to have an enjoyable evening at the theater. That's always your job as a director, is to make sure that people enjoy what they've watched, whether that means they loved it, they laughed a lot, or whether they come out like feeling a little sick because of this, it hit too close to home.
If we all had the capacity to build our perfect lover, someone with the body that we wanted and the personality that we wanted, and who responded and kind of became whatever we desired them to be, would that be a good thing for us? I'm thinking not really. One of the things we get from interacting with humans is that they're always a challenge. They never quite meet our expectations. And if we had something that really did meet all of our expectations and satisfy our desires, it would just throw us off.
There's a lot of really interesting messages that are layered into this show. Our humans' dependence upon technology is a huge one, and how that affects how we live our day-to-day.
Theater is a very important art form. It's the original 3D entertainment. Long before they had IMAX and 3D glasses, you could go and see a story told through characters and motions, and it was all right there, and it was all live.
There's also just a really personal message here that you, as a good human being, need to examine what it is you want out of life.
capfringe.org, and that's the place to buy tickets and to read about other great Fringe shows that are coming up. And I encourage everyone to get out there and support the Fringe and just have a good time seeing new plays and supporting local theater.